Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we're taking a bit of a journey, actually, back to something ancient, really. But, and this is the interesting part, something that might be surprisingly relevant today. We're looking at the lost art of bartering in the modern economy. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Bartering. Isn't that just, farmers swapping vegetables? Or something from way before money?
Right, that's the common picture, isn't it?
Yeah, and it often feels like it just has no place in our world of, credit cards and digital payments.
Well, that's what we want to unpack.
Exactly, because understanding how bartering actually works, its principles, well, it could genuinely make you richer, maybe smarter, and definitely more connected, even now. That's our mission today, really digging into the sources you've shared to see how this old idea is getting a new life.
And it's compelling why it's relevant, not just that it is. It's not just a historical curiosity. It's actually a pretty powerful and often untapped resource for, well, for you right now.
How so?
Well, think about it. We tend to get stuck thinking value is only about money, right? Cash in the bank. But everyone, literally everyone, has this sort of unique currency, things that aren't measured in dollars.
Like what, for example?
Maybe you're amazing with fixing things, a whiz with a wrench, as they say. Or you bake incredible bread. Or you're a great writer.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe it's less a skill and more a resource you've got a spare room, perhaps. Or a garden that's just overflowing with vegetables every summer.
Okay, I see where you're going.
And it's not just for those traditional settings anymore, not just the farmer's market. The sources we looked at really emphasize it's a tool, a practical way to kind of extend your cash flow, get things you need without spending actual money.
Right.
Like, think about a small business owner we saw mentioned. Instead of paying cash to a graphic designer for a logo,
Yeah.
they offered their accounting services instead, an exchange.
Oh. Skills for skills.
Exactly. Or, a friend who's a fantastic cook trading meals with a neighbor who can help with childcare.
That makes sense.
The value isn't just dollars and cents. It's the mutual benefit. Both people get something they need or want.
That idea of a unique currency, though, it's really interesting. But for someone who's only ever really dealt with, cash and cards, how do you even start to see that? To identify that kind of hidden value in yourself or what you have?
That's a great question. A fundamental one, really. What the research suggests, especially some of these reports on the sort of invisible economy, is you start with an inventory.
An inventory, like listing things out.
Yeah, exactly. But think broader than just your job title or your main professional skills. What niche software are you really good at? Do you own any specialized tools, maybe a high-end camera or, woodworking equipment? Or connections? Do you know people in a certain industry, a community group? That network access can be valuable to someone else.
Right. Connections are definitely a resource.
Even just your time, if used specifically.
Right.
Are you a great researcher, super organized, patient enough to tutor someone? The goal is basically to list everything, skills, stuff, connections that could potentially solve someone else's problem or meet their need. We saw this case study, a photographer who needed accounting software.
Yeah.
They traded professional headshots for a year's subscription to the software.
So it's about finding that match. What problem can I solve for you?
Precisely. Using what you already have.
That's a helpful way to think about
Yeah.
it. But okay, let's say you identify something you can offer and someone has something you need. How do you make it fair if there's no money involved? That seems like it could get tricky, ensuring it's, an equitable trade.
Yeah, that's definitely a key challenge. And it's something that modern bartering has had to figure out because historically it relied on that double coincidence of wants.
Which sounds really inefficient.
It was. You had to find someone who not only had what you wanted, but also wanted exactly what you had.
Right.
But today, the sources point to a couple of practical ways around this. One common method is using market rates as a reference.
Okay, so what would this normally cost?
Exactly. If a graphic designer usually bills, say, $75 an hour for logo work, and you offer 10 hours of your accounting service, which you value similarly, you aim for that kind of perceived balance.
Makes sense. Using money as a measuring stick, even if it's not changing hands.
Right. And another interesting idea, especially in more organized barter networks, is this concept of a fixed hourly rate for any service within that network.
Really? How does that work?
So maybe an hour of web design is considered equal to an hour of childcare or an hour of gardening, regardless of the typical market price. It emphasizes the value of time and effort within that specific community.
Huh. That's quite different. More about the shared effort.
Yeah, it fosters a different kind of value system.
So it sounds like it involves a bit of mutual understanding, maybe some negotiation using these benchmarks. And you mentioned networks. What about trust? That seems like a big hurdle, especially if you're not just trading with friends or neighbors, but maybe strangers online.
Absolutely. And that's where technology has really stepped in and kind of revitalized bartering. Modern platforms are tackling trust head on. Many use reputation systems, you know?
Like on eBay or Uber. Ratings and reviews.
Exactly like that. You build a track record with successful exchanges, people can see you're reliable.
Okay, that helps.
Some platforms even act like an escrow service, particularly for goods. They might hold an item until both people say, yep, satisfied.
Ah, a safety net.
Yeah, we saw examples in some analyses of the skill swap economy, where specialized apps connect people for very specific trades, like tutoring for plumbing help or editing for gardening advice. They build these little microeconomies based on verified skills in that trust system. It adds accountability that you just didn't have in old school bartering.
It really is amazing how tech is breathing new life into such an old practice. Makes you think, doesn't it? About all the value just sitting there untapped because we're so used to thinking only in cash terms. But this isn't just about the economics, is it? About saving money or getting stuff. There feels like something deeper going on.
Precisely. That's a crucial point. When you look at the bigger picture, bartering often builds community, connection, things that, frankly, money often struggles to create.
Also,
Well, when you barter, it's not just a cold transaction. You're often building a relationship. It requires trust, mutual respect, recognizing you both have something valuable to offer. The sources often talked about this psychological shift. You move away from a scarcity mindset, always worrying about having enough cash, towards more of an abundance mindset. You start seeing the wealth of skills and resources all around you, in yourself and in your community.
yeah, I can see that.
There was this great anecdote about a software developer trading website work for a whole year's worth of fresh vegetables from a local farmer.
Wow.
And that wasn't just a deal, right? It created a real connection, supported someone local. It strengthens the social fabric in a way just buying groceries doesn't always do.
Yeah. So wrapping this up then, what does this all mean for you listening right now? It seems like bartering, this sort of lost art, really reminds us that value is so much more complex than just a price tag. It taps into our ingenuity, it builds community, and it makes us recognize the wealth we all have in our skills and resources, even if we don't think about it that way. It's about using what you have to get what you need and building connections while you do it.
Absolutely. So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. The next time you need something or you want something, before you automatically pull out your wallet or click buy now, just pause. Pause for a moment and ask yourself a different question. What do I have to offer? You might be surprised by the answer.